Is that better? Can you hear me now? You can. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that happened, but what's going on, everyone? Appreciate y'all letting me know that you can't hear me. I didn't know that. Oh, now there's probably an echo. Here, let me fix that. There. Better. Yeah. Fix the echo. Fix the sound. This software, it doesn't hold my settings, so I gotta like redo audio settings every time, it seems like. I didn't know that until just now. But I had this issue last time. Uncle Jesus is here. What's up, Dave? Dave's driving. Intellectual Curiosity. Hey, what's up, Mama D? Good to see you. So, yeah, I just came. I was saying earlier, and you guys couldn't hear me. I really should have done this live stream a couple of days ago. But honestly, it's just been a pretty hard couple of days. I was kind of grieving, you know what I mean? For those of you who don't know, I was caring for George's dog, Buddy. And the other day I woke up, and it was pretty early in the morning. Buddy had a really massive seizure in front of me. And I'll start this by saying I didn't know it was a seizure until he came out of it. And when he came out of it, I realized it was a seizure. But to be completely honest with you, I didn't know what was going on. I straight up thought he was dying in front of me. So, I talked to George's family and, let them know what was going on. And we all agreed it was just time to put Buddy down. I'm grinding right now too. We all agreed it was time to put Buddy down. And, so I, really, it was just a lot of it had to do with the fact that I didn't want Buddy to, I'm not always here. I run errands and I went to work. That same day, I had to go to work and deal a poker game. And I didn't want to not be here and have Buddy pass away alone, have Zag watch it, and just everything about that seemed really sad to me. So, I made some phone calls on the live stream, found a veterinarian who gave me a really compassionate deal. They didn't charge me for the euthanasia, just to collect the ashes. And so I'm waiting for that phone call for whenever his ashes are ready. I'm gonna twist one up real quick. This is where I keep my cones. So I'm waiting to collect up his ashes, and yeah, the last few days have just been really difficult. I haven't really. Yesterday I went out and had some fun with some friends, but that was the first time I'd really done anything since Buddy passed away. I don't know, man. I've seen people have seizures before. I've even seen dogs have seizures before. But that seizure, that was the worst one I've ever seen. I'm not really gonna describe it. I don't want, I'm not trying to muck everyone else's day up, but it was a really awful one. And it had me shook real, real bad, as you guys saw on my live stream. So, we made the decision to have Buddy put down. Thankfully, Scattered came through in clutch and covered the vet bill, which was pretty significant. And it was just the ashes. They didn't charge me for the euthanasia. They gave me a really compassionate deal. And I don't know, it was just all sad. It was just all really sad. In any case, that's the update on Buddy. He's gone. He passed away. Looks like Gentlestone. That's the hardest part about having fur babies, end of life care. Yeah, it's also kind of beautiful the way that it happened. Not the seizure. That was just traumatizing, to be honest with you. But he only made it like 3 months after his owner passed away. You know, I thought I'd have him for longer than that, to be honest with you. I really thought that he was going to make it back down south. I was really hoping that he would make it back down south. Back down to see, you know, where you lived for a long, long time, and see the valley and see Ponderosa, and, you know, see his family again, George's family again. But he didn't make it there. And I'm also like kind of sad about that. Like maybe he could have hung on if he knew that was coming, you know what I mean? But, you know, he lived a good life, and I was able to take care of him for 3 months. But, you know, it really was time for him to meet up with George. So he's with George now. I'll be getting his ashes soon. I'll put his ashes here with the ashes of George that I have. I don't have very many of at George, but I do have some. And I'll be putting them together, so they'll be hanging out. But that's the buddy update. It's just Zag and I again, you know, and it is what it is. The worst part about owning a dog is that we live longer than dogs. So, that's the worst part about it, you know, and I guess I'm grateful that Buddy didn't linger too long, but, you know, I didn't want him to have another seizure and me not be here. I didn't want him to have a seizure and, you know, pass away with me gone. So I thought that the most compassionate thing to do would have him pass away with me telling him he's a good boy. And he just, you know, I took him to get some McDonald's. Dave Lowe, my tech guy, had the great idea of feeding him some chocolate, because he'd never had chocolate before. And so I did that. He got some chocolate before he passed away. It's not going to upset his tummy. You know what I mean? But I do have some video that I could show you guys in the vet's office. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Then I'll give you guys the update on the van.
So for those of you,
that's not it. That's it. And then I'll give you guys an update on the van. How am I doing? Intellectual curiosity's asking. I mean, I'm hanging in there. I've just been kind of sad about it, you know, like the last few days. The day after was kind of hard. I didn't do anything. I don't even think I got out of my PJs. I just stayed at home and watched movies and was just sad. You know, like Buddy's stuff was still outside, his leash and his dog bowl in his bed. And, you know, I just brought those in last night because there's no sense in having a spot for him out there. Just like reinventing my life without Buddy again. So that's really where I'm at, I guess. That's how I'm doing. I'll be all right, you know. It's just being sad, and that's, you know, part of loving a dog is being sad when they're gone. So I do have this video I caught in the vet's office. I'll show you guys. There we go. My audio is working normally now. That's so weird. Anyways, this is Buddy and I in the vet's office.
good boy. Good boy.
Just me being really sad and crying.
Falling off the bed, good boy. He's a good boy. Yes, you are, buddy. Yes, you are. You're gonna be home with George real soon. You're gonna be home with George real soon, good boy.
That's the next clip. Clearly my tech guy sucks. That's not, I didn't want to show you that yet. So, you know, my tech guy's not doing his job. My tech guy, Dave Lowe, in the studio. There he is, chilling out there in the studio. Oh, that echo is probably obnoxious, isn't it, guys? There we go. Is that better? No echo. But that was Buddy in the vet's office as I was saying goodbye to him. Gentle Stone says, "You did the best thing for Buddy, even though it's hard and sad. My dog was 17 when he left us and has been about that long since he's been gone. But I still love him and miss him." I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys, like, a lot of people have acknowledged the fact that even though it was 3 months, like, I did take care of Buddy. I do appreciate, people noticing that. It's not that I just only had Buddy for 3 months. I knew Buddy since he was like 2 years old. Buddy was about, um, he was about 2 years old when I met him, and he was about 4 years old when I got Zag. I've known Buddy forever, since he was basically a puppy. My tech guy driving, that's why he's screwing up. That's what that's what Dave Lowe just said in the chat. In any case, I've known Buddy his whole life, just about. And then George passed away, and the last little piece, living piece of George that we had was Buddy. Just kind of a reminder that how much we cared about George, and so we were taking care of Buddy for him. And so it was kind of like losing George too again. You know what I mean? Like losing that last little piece of George, and it was just sad. It was just all sad. But I do have an update on the van. The last we talked about it, I kind of left it on a cliffhanger because of all the Buddy things that happened. Oh, I'm shaking everything. But so for those who don't know about the van, what was going on, I was pulling into a parking lot, the camp spot that I'm at, and the van acted like it was dying, right? Like, it acted like it was out of gas. So I managed to get it to the parking spot. It died 3 times, 2 times on the way up here to the parking spot, but I did manage to get it parked in front of the RV. The next day, however, it fired right up, like it wasn't out of gas. Here, I'll show you guys the video of me running out of gas. Let me get it. I have the tech guy get it queued up here. Yeah, there you go, tech guy. You got it. This is me pulling into the camp spot that I'm at, and the van dying while I was driving. And then I got a video of the next day. Oops. I'm about to run out of gas as I'm pulling back into my camp spot. Now, I know I say I was running out of gas here. It was just acting like it was out of gas. I'm not really sure if that's what happened. Now I know that I don't think that I ran out of gas. I have a suspicion that I got some bad gas, but I didn't know that at the time. 20 in my tank, and I thought that would be enough to get back to camp and back into town, but it's not. Oh, it just died again. Fuck. I'm pulling into the parking lot right now. Oh no, I'm not. You can see I'm smiling while I'm going through this, you guys. When I say miles of smiles, like, I mean it. Miles of smiles. My van all the way to the RV. Oh, I died on a hill, so I was able to fire it back up. Dude, it keeps dying. I think it's out of gas. I don't think so. I just put 20 bucks in. Oh, man. Oh, it's like... It's dying, and then I'm like losing... Oh, there we go. Why is this happening? Oh, thank God I made it home. Dude. That sucks. I might be here for a minute. Hopefully I'll be able to get this on the car dolly, because... Oh, man. Is that my evap leak? I think that might be my evap leak. Dude, my van's fucked. So, at the time, I really did think maybe it was the evap leak. I'm not a mechanic, but I know I have an evap leak. And then it was like, okay, did I run out of gas? So the next day, I had to spend like $50 to have some friends bring me gas. And I put some gas in it. So let me start over. The next day, I went out to the van, and it fired right up like there wasn't an issue. Like I didn't just run out of gas the day before. Like it didn't just act like it was out of gas. The next day, I fired it up and I drove it around the parking lot right here. No problem whatsoever. But I still didn't want to drive it into town. I didn't want to risk breaking down on the way in. You know what I mean? So, um, I called some friends and had to send them gas money to get to where I'm at and then to bring me some gas. So it ended up being about $50. And I put the gas that they brought me in the van and I made it all the way into town. And I was only going to put $40 in it. So then I knew there was gas in it. I was going to put $40 in it, but it only took $38. It didn't even take $40. So with the gas that they brought me, which was like $10, and then the gas that I put in, that's like $50. I put $50 of gas in my van, and then it was full. And it takes like $70 in gas to fill up my tank. So doing the math was starting to math out. The $20 that I put in the day before was still in my gas tank. There's no way that it wasn't. There's no way that it wasn't in there because I couldn't have filled up my tank on $50. 22-gallon tank. So, I think what happened was that I got bad gas. So, for those of you who caught my live stream yesterday, you know that as I was pulling into this parking lot, into this camp spot parking lot, snow park, my van was acting like it was out of gas. And I'm not really sure why, because I had just put $20 in gas and then ran a couple errands and then drove back up here. So this scene right here, this cut, is me turning on my van the next morning after it sat all night for the first time. And Gentlestone, I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. Sounds like bad gas or maybe a fuel pump. Fuel pump is definitely a suspicion. But I've had issues with emission systems that acted like bad gas. Hopefully a different station if you had a choice. So that's exactly what I did. I ended up driving it to a different gas station, putting Chevron gas in it. See, for me, I always get the cheapest gas that I can find because I'm a poor motherfucker. I'm poor. So I try to find the cheapest gas, so I can afford it. And I think that either I got the bottom of their tank, somebody sent me a message suggesting that it might have been the bottom of the tank, so there's more water in it than gas. I kind of suspect maybe that's what happened. I don't think it was the evap leak. My fuel pump does have an issue or two. I do need a new one. I really just need a new gas tank. The fuel pump's fine. But I really do think I just got some bad gas, to be honest with you. Yes, and it shouldn't have been. So I've got some friends on their way with some gas, and we're gonna put it in here. But I woke up today and fired up the van, and it's acting just fine. It's acting perfectly fine. Check engine light because I have an evap leak. I've had that for a long time. We checked the codes for it today, and it's all just evap leak stuff. But it's totally acting normal. This thing was bouncing yesterday, struggling to stay started. I just drove it around the parking lot a little bit, and it drove just fine. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. Probably a fuel pump, which sucks. And if it's the fuel pump just going out, then I don't know how much I can drive this thing, but I'm supposed to go to work tomorrow, so. Yeah, that's where the van is. I drove into town, I filled up the tank with $38 somehow. And ended up haven't had an issue since. Hasn't been an issue. So I don't like at first it was kind of confusing. Is it a fuel pump issue? Like here is the risk of driving into town. If it is a fuel pump, I put gas in it. If it is a fuel pump, then that means that I was gonna break down on the way into town or on the way back instead of and my now tank that I would have to replace would have a full gas tank. So it was either the gas tank, the fuel pump, one of those things, bad gas. I think that it was bad gas. Once I put gas in it, it drove just fine. It's been driving normally ever since. I could be wrong. Maybe it is the fuel pump going out. Maybe this issue will recreate itself in the next, week or so. I'm like half expecting Dave to be pulling up into camp at any point, to be honest with you. So her truck just pulled up with a camper on it, but it ain't Dave. So send them an email. Who sent who an email? Who are you talking about? Who am I sending an email to? The next day. So like the next day from that video of the van doing its thing was when Buddy had a seizure and I had to go put Buddy down. And then later that day, I had to go to work and deal cards. So I ended up, in all my sadness, having to go deal poker tournament. And I have some footage of that too. Let me see if I can get it queued up here. So that was a shot of.
Oh, you did. That's your response. Got it. Copy.
That was just some couple of quick shots that I managed to remember to take while I was there. That's kind of like the vibe of the poker tournaments that I'm dealing for. And that was a pretty fun tournament. Those people were kind of weird, but not as weird as the last tournament we dealt for. And that one was more like a strict poker game, but it was a smaller game than we all expected. Oh, Uncle Jesus is saying to email the petrol station, the gas station. So I guess I could. I don't know what good that would do, to be honest with you. But I suppose I could. It would be my guess that the underground tanks were just real low. And you don't ever get good amount of gas when it's real low. And since I only got $20, and that was probably all I had in my tank, honestly, like, I must have been close to out of gas when I got that $20. Just doing the math, since my gas gauge doesn't work. Just doing the math, I must have been basically empty when I got that $20. So that bad gas was the only thing in my tank. Once I put other gas in it, and it, got more, like, diluted, whatever the problem was with the gas, it drove just fine. And once I was able to get into town and fill it up with $38, that's when it finally clicked. I was even talking to Dave about it. That's when it finally clicked. So I wasn't out of gas. And even Dave was like, yep, doesn't look like it. And I'm like, so I'm not fucking crazy. Because either I drove $20 worth of gas, like over 100 miles, and didn't pay attention, which I know that wasn't the case, or it was bad gas. So I wasn't out of gas. But anyways, just being like all bummed out the last couple of days, that's basically what I was up to. I went to go hang out with some friends of mine in Bend, and we were invited to this like comedy show. It was a real small venue, real like small crowd. It wasn't like all blown up, big event, big venue. It was at a brewery. Ended up going to basically to church. And I'm going to show you all this clip I took yesterday at the event. Essentially, I have a lot of friends that are in the performing arts here in Central Oregon. And, I've done security for some of their events and whatnot. So this is just some of the people I know. I know the person on the keyboard in the background. This is just some of the people that I hang out with, and we ended up having a fun little event. Got to hang out with friends gets expensive. Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, it sure does. Thankfully, the event was supposed to be paid for, but I know some people, right? I know the people at the door, and I know the performers, so I didn't have to pay to go in. I don't typically, I'm not able. I mean, I would love to spend more money when I go out, but I'm not really able to do that. It's either I get a meal at this, brewery, or I get some water and I'm able to go grocery shopping. So, but the event was cool, and I'm gonna show you all some footage of it right here.
You know what he made? He made some animals vegan, y'all. There's nothing more offensive in this God's green earth than people that only eat God's green earth. As someone that loves our national parks, as somebody that loves our city parks, it kills me that the bovine are carelessly and selfishly taking on their patchouli message of hate and eating all of God's green earth. He couldn't let that happen on the ark, y'all. Hell, I didn't even want to mention this. Some monkeys are gay. Some monkeys like butthole pleasures, Lord. And that's why we got to talk about black cats. Sure, they deserve the same treatment as every other cat in the world. Hell, it's 2025. I'm going to say cats of color. Because I feel that is more appropriate. But I will tell you one thing. There's a reason why witches like black cats. And do you all know what that reason is? Drugs and jazz music. That's right, black cats like drugs and jazz music, brothers and sisters. Noah couldn't let that on the ark. Noah couldn't let that next to his nice Jewish wife on the first Jewish cruise. That's all Noah's ark was. Brothers and sisters, we all know Noah's ark was the first Jewish cruise. Can I get a goddamn amen?
Oh, it was a fun time, dude. That guy just acted like a preacher the whole time. And everybody got to write sins that they did and they were confessing to, or sermons that they wanted to hear, and put them in this jar, and he'd pull them out. So that's why it seems so random. The first one was about vegans. He's like, nothing's more sacrilegious than, right here on God's green earth is people who eat nothing but God's green earth. That cracks me up. That was funny. I'm glad I got that on video. There's a lot more to it, also. That was just a short clip of it. But that was one thing I got to do that wasn't, like, just all sad and depressing with some friends. You know what I mean? It was good to get out. Dude, my phone's blowing up right now. I'm getting so many text messages. Would you consider at a later time to sell this big RV in your minivan and buy a mid-sized transit van? Yeah, I would consider that down the road. I mean, it was kind of a beggar's choosers situation. If I could have a mid-size or a mid-size transit van, I would have gotten one. But this is what was available to me. You know what I mean? And so, if I ever do decide to sell this thing, the promise that I made was that I would give George's family the first opportunity to get the RV. So that's where I'd have to begin. And it's not, I haven't even paid for it yet. I'm not even done paying for the RV yet. You know what I mean? It's not mine yet. They're letting me travel in it. It's that kind of situation that we're at. Because I don't own it yet. So, it'll be down the road before I'm able to even consider selling it. But yeah, I would consider a transit van or something like that. That'd be cool. If I could afford one, they're pretty expensive. I don't even think if I sold this thing and my minivan, I'd have enough for Although if we're thinking of the same van, I don't know if that's the type I would even want. And if that's what you're asking here, see if I can find it. See if we're we'll see if I'm thinking of the same type of van, because if this there here, I'll show you. Let me I got you. So if it's like this kind of van you're talking about, this type of Ford Transit or one of these, sure. But if it's a real small one like this, yeah, probably not. I would need something bigger than this. I want to at least be able to stand up. You know what I mean? Like, these are the transit vans that I was thinking of. This is too small. They also have a real, like, you'll have transmission issues with this if you put a bunch of weight in it and then drive it up and down hills and stuff and drive it around the country. You'll end up with, transmission issues in this kind of van. But some with a little bit better transmission and I can stand up in, sure, I'd be all about it, bro. I wish I could get one of those. Those are pretty sick. But the RV is got its benefits. Don't get me wrong; it does have its benefits and it's got its drawbacks. It's expensive to move this thing around. It costs a lot of money to get to point A to point B, so you don't do as much of that. You know what I mean? Um, it's got more systems in it, and these systems were designed in the shop, and it's all a bit convoluted sometimes. So there is some downfalls because when you need repairs, well, there's two different types of RV mechanics you gotta call RV technicians. There's one that takes care of the chassis, the transmission, the engine. Then there's the other type that you call because you have a problem with your transmission or your chassis or your engine. But he's like, no, all I really do is appliances. I'll fix your gas stove if you need me, or fix your gas fridge, maybe run some wires to get your lights going again, or check out your maybe we could check out your AC. But that so that there's some downfalls, and it also costs more to get repairs done. But the benefits of an RV is that I have a lot of space. I really do have a whole house. I have a living room right here. I have a kitchen right here. This is my dining table. I have a bedroom, a bathroom, a shower. I haven't used the shower yet, to be honest with you. And it's a whole rolling house, So I just can't do the exploring that it would be nice if I could do. What I think I'm going to do is in the winter, I'm going to live in the RV. I'm going to get this thing down to the Imperial Valley. In the winter, I'll live in the RV. In the summer, I'll put the RV in storage. Put like a big, like a gallon, not a gallon, sorry, like a 55-gallon drum in here full of water, and then I'll leave, so that way it doesn't dry everything out, everything still stays kind of moist, and then I will take off in the van, and I'll travel in the van, and leave, and I'll come back to the RV in the wintertime, and that's what I think that I'll end up doing. Just leave the RV in storage in the summer, be gone for 4 months, traveling in the van, because the summertime's really where I get some miles in. You know what I mean? The summertime's really where you end up putting a lot of miles, because everything is just thawed out and opened up to you. The whole northern part of the country is beautiful in the summer, hard to live in the winter. So I think maybe that's like my rough draft plan. But if anyone wants to like hook me up with one of these, like, that would be pretty sweet. Sorry, I'm being a nosy neighbor. What are you driving by my house for? Get out of my parking lot. Get out of my parking lot. I'm getting a phone call from one of my stream, or somebody that watches my stream. What are you calling me for? You're not even in the. Hang on, the messenger. This is one of my followers is calling me, and I don't know why. Maybe they know I'm live, but I don't see you in here. Must be an emergency. They never called me before. Wonder if they butt dialed. Yeah, but if anyone wants to hook me up, on one of these, be pretty sick. What's up, B&K? Uncle Jesus says, I have a weakness for sprinters. Yeah, they're sick, man. I have a weakness for them, too. I see them all over the place. Bend is a van-loving place, you know what I mean? What's going on, Vintage? How you doing, man? Good to see you. I was just giving an update on Hang on. I was just giving an update on the van and on Buddy. Good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Oh, we were just talking about, currently, I did give an update on Buddy. He passed away. We had to put him down. I'll be getting his ashes sometime this coming week. I don't know when. It was the East Bend Animal Hospital who decided to. They basically did the. There she is. Hey y'all, sorry. No, you're good, Jeannie. I was like, I don't know why she's calling me. I wonder if it's an emergency. She's never called me before. I wonder if she knows I'm live. But yeah, the East Bend Animal Hospital ended up doing the euthanasia pro bono. They didn't charge me for that, but they did charge me for the ashes. I'm gonna be getting his ashes back because that was definitely George's wish. He wanted to have Buddy's ashes with him, with his ashes. So that's what we're gonna do. No problem. So it's that's sad. The van update is that I think I got bad gas that day. I think that's really what all I could narrow it down to. I haven't had that issue again. It hasn't acted like it's been out of gas again. Even before I put gas in it, the next morning it was acting just fine. And I don't know. I was pretty confused about it. I ended up getting the full tank off of $50, which that's not a full tank. $70 is, and I had put $20 in it the day before. So math is mathing. Like the math wasn't mathing, now it's mathing. The only way the maths is if the only way the math can math is if I got bad gas or something. Unless it was an intermittent problem with my fuel pump, and if it comes back and that fuel pump issue comes back, then I'll know that's what it was. But it hasn't came back yet. It's been driving just fine. So. Hooked you up at the vets. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, they did. They hooked me up at the vets. East Bend Animal Hospital. Dude, they were really cool about the whole situation. Even when the vet finally came in and looked at Buddy, she was just like, yeah, he looks like he's ready to go. Because Buddy did have like this real blank look in his eyes. He was kind of going blind. You could see his cataracts, but he still wasn't all as there as he had used to be. You know what I mean? He was slipping, and then that seizure. So there was definitely something going on with him, and we just decided to put him down. I did have to pay for the ashes, which did take the majority of the money that was sent to me for it, which, big shout out to those of you who donated, especially Scattered. Dude, I broke down when you sent that because, for one, it was just so generous, and two, the fact that now I know Buddy's gone. Now I know I can go do it. It made it just that much more like of a reality. You know what I mean? Before I was just worried that he's gonna linger and suffer. And then when I got that, I was like, I can do this now. Like that's going to happen. And so especially after seeing that seizure, it was very emotional, dude. I was, yeah, that was a tough day. And I didn't really do shit the next couple of days after that. So I did have to go to work. Went and dealt a poker game. So Jeannie says I was calling my friend saying you was a ride or die because I never call people. I couldn't watch the video because I didn't want to cry. Yeah, I was crying. I was very upset. I was kind of in a panic. That honestly, that seizure had me shook. Even the vet assistant said that her dog had a seizure, and she was like, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And, like, I've seen seizures before. You know what I thought I was seeing, though? I didn't know I was watching a seizure. I honestly thought that he was having death rattles. And I've seen death rattles before, and dying things where and that's what I thought I was seeing. And it had me shook. I didn't know it was a seizure until he came out of it. And, so it was all just a very emotional morning. I told you guys that I really, really like waking up in the morning, sipping my coffee. It's kind of my quiet time. It's when I kind of do my morning routine. And if I start my day calm, my whole day is calm. And I woke up that day, not woke up, I was only up I was still not even done with my coffee. Buddy seizing. I heard a weird sound outside. Um, and I still don't know what the sound I heard was. It might have been him falling down or something, but I went out there and he was just, uh, it was not okay. Sick dogs know when it's time. Yeah, they do. They do. But anyways, we ended up talking about vans, and I'm gonna try to lighten the mood a little bit because I'm trying to be less sad about it. It's been a sad few days. I went to that comedy show yesterday. Laughter is a good medicine. Um, the worst thing was they put on God's green earth is the people that only eat God's green earth. I'm still cracking up about that. Jeannie says, I'm so sorry, death of a companion just hits harder for me. I can't handle it. I get it. I get it. After Buddy passed away, when I got home, I just went and cuddled the shit out of Zag. Dude, just appreciated that she's still with me because, it always reminds me that's going to be a day for her too, so I don't want to think about that day. It's going to be very upsetting, you know what I mean? Buddy, I was only taking care of for 3 months. Even though I've known Buddy his whole life, I only took care of him for 3 months. And he kind of became like part of the, the homie collective. So losing him quickly sucks. And Zag's going to be awful. It's going to be an awful one. So it's a feeling of pure helplessness. Yeah, and powerlessness. And exactly, I felt helpless. At least with a human being, I kind of know that you can call an ambulance. You can call an ambulance and they'll just haul ass, lights and sirens, get there. They'll be treating that person before they even get onto the ambulance. They're already treating you before they even put you in the gurney. You're getting help. You can't there's no ambulance for a dog. That doesn't exist. There's no lights and sirens for our pets. And even though we love them as much as we love other family members, some more than other family members, there's nobody for us to call like that. We can't even break laws to get them to an animal hospital, and they won't start treating you until you pay them. It's just all weird, dude. And so that's the helplessness right there. At least with a human, you can call 911. You're doing something to help. You stabilize their head, which was all I was doing for Buddy. I just kept telling him I was there and telling him I was there and holding his head because of the with I don't know. There's just more options with people. So first is a holiday, so payday's the 29th. Yeah, it is. It's Labor Day on the 1st. So we get paid early this month. I get paid in a week, 2 weeks. What's the date today? Yeah, like 2 weeks from yesterday. We'll see if I make it. 2 weeks. I'll probably be broke as shit at the end of the month. But it is what it is. A transit box truck would be pretty cool. I do be liking box trucks. Box trucks are the shit. I'd say my dog's before my mother. Dude, I feel that. I feel that a lot. I appreciate that, Jeannie. Box trucks are the shit. I was just gonna show you guys these. These are the Sprinter vans. You know what I mean? If anyone wants to hook me up with a Sprinter van, that would be tits. I'd be all about this. This would be a great way to travel. It doesn't have to be a Sprinter van. It could still be a transit, though. I would take a transit. I would even take like I don't know. I would take any of the vans that I could stand up in. But a box truck. Let's check these out, dude. I have a good idea for a box truck. Yeah, I type fast. What's it to you? Box truck like this would be dope. I'd be happy with this. You know why? What I would do, let's take this picture for example. What I would do with this, let's bring this up. You would open the back door, and there would be about 3 feet. Oh, that's not the picture I wanted. There we go. You'd open the back door, and there would be about 3 feet, right, of space. No, I don't agree to your cookies. Get off my page. Let me see. Which one of these? Oh, this is kind of... There it is. There would be about 3 feet, and then I would build a wall. And this wall would look exactly like the front of a house, right? It would be a wall, maybe even a wet wall, where it's got plumbing coming through. But I would put siding on the front, I'd make a little window, and then I'd put a real door in the front right there. So that way, when you open up this box truck, there's like 3 feet of patio, literal patio, and then a front door and a window, and you could make it look like someone cut out the front of a house and stuck it into a box truck. And I'd have a little porch, and I could like close the doors and hang out on my porch with a little porch light. Nobody even knows I'm in there, but I'm outside. Put some fake grass down, like some of that fake grass that even dogs can go in. Maybe not, that might get gross, but still, we could hang out on the porch. That's my idea for a box truck. It would be cool to have a box truck, because that's what I would do with it. Adventure Van Man is going to be selling his box truck if you know anyone looking. I don't. I ain't got friends that can afford no box truck. But Adventure Van Man. I don't know who this is, so I'm gonna go check him out right now. See if I've met this guy. Here's his channel. 2 nomads selling box truck. Brad is 2. 2 nomads selling box truck. Brad is 2. 110,000 subscribers. Nice, dude. Nice. That's pretty cool. 6 months in the minivan. What's not working out? Oh, like probably you can't stand up when you change your underwear. He got good setup in the minivan though. I wish I had those kind of tools and money so I could like set mine up like that. I'm not seeing a box truck though. I'm seeing like this full-size van, and then he's in Paul Rump. I know there's so many YouTubers in Paul Rump, Havasu. This is all the places that we go. This is the same spots, Joshua Tree. We all go to these spots, same area. He's got a lot of subscribers though. That's cool. I'm not seeing a box truck though. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna subscribe to him. Really, I need somebody like this to show me how to use Patreon. Give me some I need to get my mojo back on videographying. But I feel like these guys just have real expensive equipment. He does beet harvests. Oh, he's cool people. He downsized to an Astro, and then I think Mischief's talking about someone else. Back in Astronauts in Montana last. He does beet harvests and does some fishing in Alaska. That's cool. I know a lot of people who do beet harvest. Pretty common nomad job to jump onto. Yeah, gotta watch these van life channels though. Some of them are full of shit. Just saying. I do know, I'm not gonna drop their names or whatever, but I do know of 2 van life people who be bullshitting their channel all the time. To the point where one time, one of them doesn't even live in a van. They just own a van, and they go out to their van from their apartment. They do live streams from their van and act like they'd be living in their van, but they had an apartment. I know, I know that's happened. Another one, I know what happened is that they were staying at their folks' house, and they didn't really want to do a stream and showing where they were because they lied about where they were supposed to be. They were supposed to be camping, but they're not. They're at Mom and Dad's house, and they turned the sprinkler on in Mom and Dad's house to aim right at their vehicle, and they live streamed from the vehicle saying that it was raining outside, so they couldn't show you what's going on out there. I've definitely seen some of this shit before. I know some van lifers who smoke more than I do. You know, not weed, but cigarettes. Smoke more cigarettes than I do. But you wouldn't know they smoke cigarettes on their channel because they never show it. And they actively, like, avoid putting that out there because they're afraid that people won't like them. Like, there's just some silly-ass van lifers out there who are on YouTube. I don't know this guy, though. I might have met him before. I wonder if he did a Slab City video. Let's search. Slab. Wonder if he would. Hey, dude, come to Slab City. Slab City, bitch. Slab City, bitch. Oh, he does. He does. He does have one from 9 years ago. I was there around that time. Nomad Meetup 2017. Let's see this video of his. We're loading it up. 15 to 20 grand in 2 weeks or 3 12-hour shifts. Yeah, dude, my body couldn't do that no more. I don't think I'd make it, to be completely honest. Trying to load this video, but my computer's actually quite hot right now too because I'm doing so much with it, live streaming. Just running hard. I got a lot going on. I don't think I'll be able to bring up this video. Oh well. He does have a Slab City video. I was kind of wondering where he went in town, but can't really tell. Oh, here's a clip from the range. He just went and did the tourist stuff. I'm like zipping through his channel here. He went and saw the range, went and saw Salvation Mountain. Oh, that's back when the art there wasn't all graffitied over. Check this out. This is what the art in slabs used to look like. Now it's just covered in graffiti. But there was some beautiful art out there on those tanks. And now it's all covered up. That thing's still there. You can still climb on that. Salvation Mountain. Yeah, yeah, I'll have to check out his channel some more. He's selling a box truck, huh? I didn't see a box truck, though, on his channel. Five ladies doing content. All have sticks and bricks and husbands or boyfriends. I do know of another YouTuber who had a boyfriend but wouldn't show it. Wouldn't show the boyfriend to their channel because there was one donator in particular who said they would stop, and it was her biggest donator. Said that they would stop donating if she got a boyfriend, so she would just lie to everybody so she can keep getting donations from this creepy old man. Yeah, he's been full-time for about 10 years and very basic. Yeah, I'll have to check him out, dude. Seems cool. There are a few doing OnlyFans too, like Abigail is. I don't know who Abigail is. I'm not sure who Abigail is. But that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I would do OnlyFans too if I could make fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every month on it. But I don't think I'm that good looking. I don't think I'd make that much money. So I'm not gonna sell my soul for pennies. I mean, I'll do some weird shit for money, but it's gonna be a lot of money. I promise you that. I am for sale. It's just I'm expensive. Even if I'm not worth that much, I'm still pricing myself high, bro. Let's see. I've almost been streaming for an hour. I really thought it was, like I said, I should have done this video days ago to update you guys on Buddy. If you follow my Facebook, you know that what happened. You know what's going on. But yeah, I figured it was time to update everyone Sorry it's so late. But yeah, that's what's going on with Buddy. We had to put him down. I've been bummed about it. Been trying to get out of the funk. Time doesn't heal anything. I don't like that saying. I think that time just makes you think about it less because just life just keeps coming. Like life is still happening. So you think about these kind of things less and less and less. But you get still sad about it, and it's been less than a week. I'll be picking his ashes up this week sometime. I don't know when. But they're all covered. They're already paid for. Very, very grateful for those who did donate. Especially you scattered. You made that. You made it totally possible. So, whatever pays the bills doesn't hurt anyone, and preferably legal. Yes. Yes, 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 to all of that. I'm a big fan of the government staying the fuck out of my business. Honestly, I'm a big fan of that. It used to be our country mocked those people who said, we're from the government and we're here to help. But it seems like everyone just keeps wanting the government to take care of them. Yeah, we understand it's a period of adjustment. That's where I'm at. Labor so early, gonna make for a great September, no more crowds. Oh, Labor Day coming so early. Yeah, it's honestly about time that I leave Central Oregon. It's like in a couple weeks when I get paid, I should be taking off from here, and I got a lot of things that I got to get done before I get that. Before I pull out of here. One of them is I got new vents that I got to put onto I got to glue to the top of the RV. I need to get those installed before I take off. I would really like to get the alignment checked out and figure out why it pulls so hard to the right. And I don't think I'll be able to afford to drive this thing. I've also got to dump and fill up on water. I got to get propane. I got 2 big ass propane tanks on this thing that I got to fill up. And I'm really not sure if I get all this stuff done, if I'm going to be able to afford to even drive it out of Central Oregon. But next month, it's going to be cold in Central Oregon. It's going to start getting down into freezing. It was 33 degrees up here in the mountains last night. So it is time for me to get back out of the mountains and go back into town, maybe the other side of Bend, down in the Badlands, and it's more deserty, and it's lower elevation, so it's not quite as cold. It is about time. It is about time for me to get out of the mountains because it is starting to get chilly up here. So brake caliber maybe sticking. Maybe that actually could be a good. That's a thought for sure, dude. I didn't even think about that actually. But it does. If I was to let go of the steering wheel, I'm turning right. Whether you like it or not, I'm turning right. I'm going to check on that brake caliper. That's actually a really good thought. If it was stuck, though, don't you think it would get hot? Like maybe even catch on fire because I'd be driving. Because I've driven this down the road now from Montana to here and didn't catch on fire or anything. But I will check on that. That's definitely a thought. I didn't think about that until now. I was wondering if it was something about like the control arm or whatever. It gets cold out here in Central Oregon real early. You know what I mean? Like, especially up here in the mountains. Like, it's snow-capped mountains year-round. It doesn't happen on accident. It's because the summer up here is real, real short. This road shuts down here in the next, 2 months. It could be, where I'm at right now, could be covered in snow in a month. So it is time for me to get out of the mountains. So I'm going to have to put some fuel in this, get out of the mountains, dump it. I'm going to have to fill up on water. Propane's going to cost me a couple $100, I'm sure, to fill up these propane tanks that are on this thing. One of the propane tanks, I have 2 onboard propane tanks. One of them runs my gas stove, my oven, and my fridge. The other one runs I have a propane generator on board. So I have 2 tanks to fill up. I got the adapter now, so I can fill them up. Because it's got the old fitting on there. Can't fill them up. But I got the adapter now. I should be able to do that. In any case, once I get that done, fueling up, that alone will probably be like $300 or $400. That's half my income right now. Plus I got to pay my phone bill, my land payment. Donner Pass flashbacks. Dude, the Donner Pass is actually a pretty scary pass. I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't drive this thing on the Donner Pass. No way. Wouldn't even like taking my minivan on that. I don't like the Donner Pass. I don't have fun on it at all. But in any case, let's say I do fill this up with fuel. That leaves me not very much money to survive on the rest of the month. Plus, I've still got that alignment issue, whatever's going on with that I got to get checked out. So, but it's also time for me to get out of the area. It's time for me to start heading south. No, I'm not going to go all the way south yet. It's still 120 something degrees down there. It's not time for me to get all the way south yet. It is time for me to get out of the mountains because if I wait too long, I'll get stuck out here in the cold. That happened to me a couple of years ago when my van broke down. That was awful. I don't want to do that again. I was waking up in 16 degrees, you know what I mean? It wouldn't get hot when it's sticking, but when it's not sticking, it's fine. Could be intermittent because of the slide pins. Might be drying up. What I will say is it's not intermittent when it pulls. It's always pulling. It's me fighting the pull to the right the entire drive. If I was to let go of it at any time, it's going that direction. So I'm not really sure if that's a control arm. I'm not a mechanic, bro. I'm gonna need Dave to come by, and maybe I don't have a jack though to lift this RV up. You know what I mean? I don't have a jack big enough to jack up my front end. But I do have one on my wish list. If anyone wants to hook me up with a jack that I could use to lift up the front end, not only would that help me maybe diagnose this issue that I'm having with the front end, it would also mean that I can change my own damn tire if I ever blow a tire. So, I don't have a spare tire, I don't think. I'd have to figure that out. But I would be able to change one if I if I had one. Tie rod. Maybe that's what it was. Somebody else mentioned the tie rod to me. I was thinking control arm, but yeah, tie rod. That's what somebody else sees. See, I know that all these things are down there. I just don't know what each one of them does. I should watch a YouTube video. I think I'm gonna do that after this. Figure out how suspension works. I like learning things. Bent tie rod for sure. Then okay. See, that's two people. That's cold enough that you might not wake up in the morning. You know, I've got plenty of blankets. It's not too cold under the blankets. I got a sleeping bag that's good down to 0 degrees, and with more blankets on top of that, I bet you I could be fine in -20. In an RV with walls and stuff, and like I think I would be just fine. But I don't want to be cold. It's hard to get out of bed when it's 30 fucking 16 degrees, 20 degrees. Hard to get out of bed. But coffee's a good motivator to get out of bed. It's just a real cold poop in the morning, and I'm not a fan of that either. So I don't want to get caught in the cold is really the moral of the story. So if anyone wants to kick down some money, some gas money for the RV, if anyone wants to check out my wish list, I do have a jack on my wish list that would lift up the front end of the RV. That'd be really cool. I would appreciate it. I'd be really grateful. I'm not going to be here for very much longer, so I'm going to have to turn my wish list off. When I leave here, I'm not going to have an address for a minute. And it'll take me a minute once I go to south before I have an address set up. If I have one set up. It might be a minute, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure I'm not really sure who I will be able to use to get mail, delivered to them for my Amazon wish list. So, unless maybe I go pay for a P.O. box. If somebody wants to hook me up with a P.O. box down there, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, the wish list thing might have to turn it off for a little while. And, that happens when I'm moving. I usually don't have it. I usually have to turn it off. So. The license top priority. Yeah, that's a good call. I forgot all about that mischief, to be completely honest with you, until now. So yeah, that's another $200 I have to go spend on my license. Right now, see, like I was so close to having enough money to go do that, but I also ended up buying groceries, so I wasn't able to do it. Hopefully I get I think that there might be another little piece of money from coming in for me this month. It's not going to be a whole lot, but I think I'll be able to use that to get my license. So maybe that won't cut into my paycheck on the 29th, you know. So we'll see. Be well. Thanks, dude. Gentle stone. I'll pop in again soon to see what I can do. Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate it. If you can't do anything, you know, go to my channel and share your favorite video of mine to your social medias. That's actually a free way you could help me. You could help any of the your favorite YouTubers. You know, like if not everyone can donate. You know, not everyone can afford it. You know, it's fine. I try to keep most of my channel free. I try to keep it available to everyone, and there is no shame in not being able to donate. But if you can, my links are in the description of this video, as they are in the description of all my videos. I got my link tree posted on the description of this video. You can find my Amazon wish list. You can even find my social medias. If you want to hit me up on Facebook, I'm going to type my name on Facebook here into the chat. And you guys can come find me. I talk to people outside of the live stream. If you guys just want to bullshit, like sometimes I got time on my hands, and you know, I am able to talk to some of you guys, you know, not on live stream. So I appreciate you being here, and big shout out to my tech guy in the background doing all my tech work, you know, queuing everything up. D-Lo. He's the one that pulls up all those videos, and big shout out to him. And I'll see you guys on the flip side, as always.